For the third big statement, I would like to invite our Executive Director of Strategic Communications and his guest, who have come all the way from France, to join him at the podium to tell us about the display you see before you. While they approach the podium, let me share that today we deployed the city's first automated short story kiosk, like you see before you. This is similar to an ATM that dispenses free short stories for both young readers and more experienced readers. We have partnered with Columbus Public Health to place one of these automated short story kiosks near the children's area of their immunization clinic. Health Commissioner Dr. Roberts and I were joined by the team from Short Edition to print out the first stories that will be available to children and families who are waiting for their appointments. Only 6 other cities across the United States have similar kiosks, and Columbus City Schools is the first school district, not only in the country, but in the world, that deploy these wonderful learning and recreational devices in our communities. And so with that, I will ask Mr. Varner to share more about this historic partnership and moment for Columbus City Schools.
Thank you, Dr. Stanford, President Baker, and members of the board. Thank you for your time tonight to welcome our partners from Short Edition. You know, we are a district of innovation when it comes to the promotion of reading. And a great example of that innovation are these short story kiosks. You've seen them before. We took a brief moment back in December, you might recall, to unveil them as soon as we got the boxes in, knowing that it would be later in the spring until we had a chance to actually deploy them. Columbus City Schools has 5 of these kiosks. They were given to the district at no charge by the Pizzuti Company as part of an agreement with the city and with the board. And so how do they work? With the push of a button, free short stories are printed out on rolls of paper, just like a receipt. And that's a long story. The goal here is to provide short story reading materials at places where there might not be anything to read, to promote literacy and good reading habits in young people and in adults, and to be a leading voice in reading advocacy across our community. So where will they go? Many of you will ask. Well, one kiosk was recently featured at the Home and Garden Show just a few weeks ago. Their theme was children's literature, so it was a great opportunity for us to test one of the machines out in the public, and it was a big hit. One of these kiosks will soon be placed at our newly renovated Central Enrollment Center once construction there is complete. And as you heard, the very first one was placed today at Columbus Public Health. And other locations are still being worked out, but the hope is to place them in locations where young people might not have access to reading materials, such as waiting rooms, government offices, or shopping areas. I am very appreciative that for this first deployment today, our partners at Short Edition came all the way from France to be with us. And so with that, please let me introduce Kristen Leroy and Loic Giraud to share more about the successful story that they are writing and that Columbus City Schools is now part of.
Thank you, Mr. Varner. Mesdames, Messieurs, I digress. I'm sorry I don't have a French accent. I know you're disappointed, but you will get one. So, esteemed officers of the board members, thank you very much for having us. And on behalf of the founders of the company at the foot of the Alps in France, we thank you for having us and creating history not only in one of the largest school districts in America, but placing the first one in a hospital where there is great need to divert attention to other things. And we've, if I may rebound on Dr. Stanford's lovely speech, we are here to connect your community in a very unplugged, poetic way. And that's what we aim to do, is to promote reading and writing. And I'll let my colleague Loic talk to you about this partnership that is very valuable to us. And we thank the moment that Mr. Varner discovered us on CBS TV. So Loic will give you a little more insight on what he's planning for the future of this partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen, and thank you all for receiving us here. It's a real pleasure and a real honor to be here with you. I will try to make it short because this is what we do at Short Edition. What we also do is we try to promote literature and culture in places where you don't expect it. And working with Scott and with Columbus City School was a real opportunity for us towards this objective because we installed the first one in a health center in the US. We have a few in France, and it's really a place where we think you need to have access to literature, to emotion, to think of something else. This is the first step of a very exciting partnership we are having here. We think the next steps will be to find other locations where you don't expect these kind of machines and this kind of literature, and then maybe in the future have some authors from Columbus writing some stories for Columbus, but also for all around the world, because we have 150 dispensers installed today. We are having more and more here in the US, but we also have some in Hong Kong, in Canada, in Australia. And our objective is to build a real community of writers and readers around the world, and Columbus will be a part of it, and we are very proud of this. Thank you all.
Do you have any questions at all? Comments?
Colleagues, are there any questions? Mr. Vice President?
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Comme vous voulez.
Merci pour le travail avec le district. Je suis très heureux au sujet de votre travail with us. Thank you very much. There are some of us who do speak French here at the table.
Excellent. Merci.
So thank you for this. This is actually outstanding. I've had the opportunity to play with it a little bit when it was actually upstairs on the second floor. So thank you for this work. We look forward to making great use of it throughout the city. Thank you for putting Columbus on the map.
And thank you for putting us on the map as well.
Absolutely.
So equally.
De rien.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Preddy?
And you may have mentioned this. Will there be a point where we will have some of our students populating the stories in the future at some point?
Yeah, of course, this is what we started to do with some universities around the world, in Hong Kong, for example. It is a possibility. As a publisher, we are used to create some animations like this. We can work with you to bring out the best of Columbus students and have some others here. Yeah.
Just for another story, we're working with Penn State University right now, and they are having the first contest amongst their campuses statewide. And so the content is slowly coming in, and it's the first pilot that we're running. So eventually, we'd like all universities and schools to create their own content and be shared worldwide. So that is a goal. Excellent question.
Sanford?
I just want to add real quickly that we had that conversation at the Public Health Department, and we talked about it being maybe a little bit of a competition between the schools, kind of like we have the Poetry Slam, and they also offered to even look at our Poetry Slam products to see if that might be something that could be included as well. So they're very open to working with us and working with our students to be a part of this project as well. And that would be very exciting if we can, have our students featured in these kiosks as well.
Absolutely.
Stories or poems that are fiction, the editorial guidelines are fiction. So,
Board Member Peretti? I'm sorry, Board Member Reyes?
Thank you. So I just wanted to add, just so you knew, we actually have students who have published books and poetry in the district. So I would say that in some instances there may be no need for a competition. They've already put themselves out there and are professional and have found publishing rights and actually have hardbound books. So as you're exploring this, I actually would love to promote those kids who have already taken the initiative and are published authors within the district. We've got second graders, third graders, sixth graders, little babies all the way up to our high school. So just as an FYI, our kids are phenomenal, so I would love for that to become a reality. So as you're creating what a competition would look like, I would love for us to consider the ones who are already published.
We share that as well.
Board Member Hudson?
I think it's bonjour. That's about all I know. Thank you for being here. What will you be doing while you're here visiting?
Well, we're on our way to the Public Library Association conference, annual conference in Philadelphia, weather permitting. Getting a bit nervous about getting there because we need to transport this from New York all the way to Philadelphia. So we expect a lot of attention from libraries statewide to promote the libraries within the city, to drive traffic into the libraries, promote the readings of the collections there. It's a new medium as well to communicate all the goings-on that you're producing in your community.
Just a follow-up, President Baker. I'm not sure who to direct this to, but how will these be serviced? How will the registered tape be refilled? How do we make sure folks get the stories?
So that will be through the Office of Communications that we'll be working. What's great about each of these devices, they are connected through a dashboard, so we can monitor which locations are getting the most buttons being pushed. We're producing the most stories. Which stories are getting pushed most? Are they the ones for young readers or for every reader? It will also let us know when the paper is low, and so we will have that opportunity to go out and change them. And we hope that becomes an issue. We hope that there is such excitement that we're running out of paper often.
Any other questions? Board Member Gibbs?
Bonjour. Merci d'être ici. C'est incroyable. Et je peux parler un petit peu, mais ce n'est pas très bien. Non, ce n'est pas très bien, mais je vous dis merci pour le don de la lecture, d'imagination et des grands rêves. Thank you so much for the gift of reading, imagination, and big dreams. Because where a car can take you is one destination, but where reading can take you is anywhere around the world. And you have given our not just our kids, but our community an opportunity to lise in places where you may or may not traditionally find something to read. I was in a hospital all day today, and what a beautiful place that would be to just take the time to read something different. So, merci, merci, merci.
I wish I just had a video and could film that. And thank you very much.
What I would just like to add is that from all our customers, so we have 150 around the world, Columbus City Schools was the one with the most focus on children and on literacy for children. We do have maybe one or two train stations in France that did specially designed dispensers like this one, but Columbus, we really felt this willing to bring literature to all and to all children, so we are really proud of this.
And who knows if the next best-selling short story author will come from Columbus.
If there are no other questions, Mr. Brown.
Briefly, I too want to add my thanks. I'm not going to attempt to do it in French. That was long ago, far away, that I tried studying. But I do want to thank you and all of those that put this project together, including Pizzuti companies, who really stepped up and helped make this happen for Columbus City Schools.
Thank you very much. And without further ado, maybe we should let you leave so you can hopefully get out of here before the snow hits. Thank you very much for your partnership. Thank you, Mr. Varner. Yeah. Safe travels.